Have you ever wondered why Asta is so incredibly strong in Black Clover? I am not talking Devil Union Asta or even any iteration of him with anti-magic. I'm just talking about his pure physical strength, being able to lift the swords and move at faster than light speed. Sure, Asta is trained physically, but it does not add up. He should not be that strong just from training. If just anyone could train like Asta and get to his level, then every single peasant in Black Clover could be a heroic magic knight with ease, no matter how low their mana was. This could almost make a plot hole in a way, as Asta alone should be a cause for everyone to start physical training and adding that into their regimen. I mean, Klaus has shown great improvement after a year of physical strength training, but despite that, he needed a lot of help to defeat a measly 40% Dark Disciple, despite having high amounts of mana as an esteemed noble elite, and also having elven mana left over. While he has trained, he has never progressed at anywhere close to the rate that Asta has physically. If you look at it, Asta has three main aspects to his overall power. His physical strength acts as the basis for his power. He uses Ki to enhance his senses, and he has anti-magic, as to which Ki even allows for Asta to have extended usage of it with the black form. But what if I told you there is more than meets the eye, that Asta has an additional power that allows him to further enhance his abilities and power? And what if I told you that there is a sound reason that will explain his enhanced physical strength that Ibata has foreshadowed multiple times? In fact, what if I told you there are likely two distinct reasons for Asta's immense physical strength? I want you guys to comment down below right now, and I want you to guess what this secret is, and I want to see if you guys can come out correct and come back to it later after the video is over. With that being said, welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Broku. Thank you guys so much for all the support. We've been blowing past the subscriber goals. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. I know that a lot of you guys are not subscribed because I can look at the statistics and see that most people watch the videos are not subscribed. So just subscribe. That really does help a lot. Turn on notifications. And also, guys, let's really push this video out because I think people are going to go crazy with this one. If the community can see this, I think it's really going to change the way that we see how Asta is and how powerful he is, because this really just explains everything when it comes to Asta's physical strength. So please share it, like, show this to your friends, everything. This is going to be a crazy one. Also, you want to join my Discord, link down below. I'm going to be a lot more active on Discord. And also follow me on Twitter. That will also be linked down below. With that being said, let's get into it. Now, I have two different reasons for the hidden reasons as to why Asta is so physically strong, what his secret power is. And I have two because it really could be both of them. In reality, it could be one or the other, but I actually do believe that it's very likely that both of these are the reasons as to why Asta is such a strength prodigy. So I'm going to go in depth on the first explanation, but I promise you, if you watch all of this video, you will be 100% convinced that Asta isn't this chatty daddy simply because he did some push-ups. It goes much deeper than this. Now we know that Asta's mother, Lucita, had a power, seemingly a curse that works similar to Henry's, in which she would inadvertently steal the mana and life energy of those around her. Now this is important because this is essentially the reason why Asta has no mana, because his mother inadvertently stole it from him. Though Asta, for some reason, is resistant to these life energy attacks, as he survived both the womb and being born within Lucita's presence. Remember, we saw Lucita kill a snake with just her mere presence, so her being with any amount of time with Asta should kill him if he was not resistant to these abilities. We also saw Asta resist attacks from Zagred that eat life energy, and Asta did not have his anti-magic swords out at the time, which means with no anti-magic power, he left these attacks unscathed, which means and proves that life energy attacks do not work on Asta. Now, whether Asta survived these attacks because he is a devil hybrid, and we know that devils are resistant to life energy attacks, or whether he grew an adaptation from being in the womb and surviving his mother's curse. Either way, Asta is resistant to life energy attacks, but remember, Lucita absorbs life energy and mana, and also note that within real life, women must consume more food and nutrients to nourish the growth of the baby inside of them. So in theory, Lucita should be taking the stolen mana and life energy and supplanting it inside of Asta in the womb, but at the same time, also stealing that mana from him, though the life energy would remain inside because for some reason, Asta is resistant to these abilities. So she is giving him mana and life energy, but then also taking away the mana, but she is not able to take back the life energy that she had given him. So this means that our favorite little baby Asta was injected with vast amounts of life energy. Now, life energy as a substance is kind of mysterious in Black Clover. We know that mana resides in life energy, and that while they are both energy sources, they are entirely separate from each other. People can live without mana, but not life energy. And there's actually plenty of evidence that life energy can be used to enhance the abilities of a user in a similar way to what mana does. For example, Sally was able to create a magic item that took a user's life energy to increase magic power. What this means is that if life energy can be converted into magic power, then in theory, it can be converted into physical power. This is also further backed up when Yami is attacked by the life energy stealing attack from Zagrid. His arm was withered as it stole his life energy, and it became so weak that he couldn't grip his sword. Now, if it is shown that the loss of life energy equates to the loss of physical strength, then the opposite can be deemed true. Thus, if one were to increase their life energy, they would become physically stronger. This would be a way to explain the scene where the newborn Asta was able to kick the father at the church and knock him against the wall. This would be a hard feat for a newborn to do against a regular human, but the father at the church is a magic user, thus making this feat orders of magnitude higher. Asta being imbued with far more life energy from his mother's ability than the average person would be a way to explain why he was so strong as a newborn and why he has gotten so strong afterwards when he paired it with physical training. But there's another part of this theory as well, even more evidence that life energy can increase the power of its users. And that brings us to Ki. Let's put it this way. Tabata has revealed to us who the most physically strong characters are in the series. The top 3 are, number 3, Veto, number 2, Asta, and top 1 is our chatty daddy, Yami Tsukihiro. Now I'll give you a few seconds to figure out the commonality between this buff trio.
Broku, they're all physically strong.
Yeah, besides that.
They all have big
No, they all have Ki.
But Broku, are you implying that Asta is strong and these other characters are strong because they have Ki? It's saying that Ki is just a way to enhance your senses. This doesn't explain anything.
Calm down, Mountain Dew Matt. But let me explain. Mountain Dew Matt, just a character that I made up. Just a joke reference. I'm not making fun of you guys. But I'll probably maybe use that character I made up in future videos. So, not making fun of you, just to add some flair to the video. But, anyways, yes. All 3 characters in the top 3 strongest physical strength use Ki. And I do not think this is a coincidence. Tabata really doesn't write coincidences. If you think it's a coincidence, there's probably a reason behind it. So, while yes, Ki has been only blatantly stated by Yami to be an ability that allows the user to use all of their senses to predict their opponent's movements before they can even happen. But this doesn't prove that Yami knows everything about Ki. Yami was just a little kid when he washed ashore on the Clover Kingdom, and there is no proof that he ever returned to it. Many kids in Black Clover lack the knowledge of mana and magic to a higher degree, and Yami's understanding of Ki is only a general understanding from a child's perspective. He still has much to learn. While some say that Yami has returned to the Land of the Sun, because how would he have a katana otherwise? Well, it's actually implied it was made in the Clover. And people say, well, how is it made in the Clover if he's just a kid? How would he even tell a blacksmith to make it? But he could just have had Marks or any other memory mage take his memory, show it to the blacksmith of what a katana looks like, and that blacksmith in the Clover Kingdom could make the katana. But like I said, I don't think it can be a coincidence that all of the top 3 characters for physical strength are all Ki users. Some people will seem to forget that Veto did use Ki when Asta fought him, but I'll talk a bit more in the video about how and why Veto is using Ki and how it can still make sense even though it is a technique from the Land of the Sun. So Ki is actually life energy in Black Clover. Yami states this when he explains it to Asta. Ki is the blanket term for all the different types of life energy the human body releases. Now Yami states that he uses Ki to essentially predict the movements of his opponents by sensing their Ki. This essentially analyzes every movement and allows for these predictions. But like I mentioned earlier, Yami was only a young child during his experiences in the Land of the Sun, and thus he wouldn't have all the information of Ki and what it can do. One thing that I want to bring up is that Ki is a real-life concept and is featured in many other fictional series. Of course, the most prominent example of Ki, or Chi, is Dragon Ball, where it exists as the main power system within the series. Of course, it seriously augments the user, allows them to fly, they can shoot planet-destroying beams out of their hands, and much more. And it has been stated that Dragon Ball, of course, was an influence to Tabata, as were many other mangaka. At his age, at the time, he would have been a young boy during the original run of Dragon Ball manga and anime. So it is possible that Ki, while at first introduced in the series was supposed to be some minor thing, would also be something that could be expanded upon by Tabata in a later date. Heck, we might even get a Land of the Sun arc at some point. Maybe the Cliff Devils will actually be successful, and everyone will have to flee to the Land of the Sun. Or there'll just be a later arc in the future where we go to the Land of the Sun and Asta learns new ki abilities. So ki is life energy. And I think that means that people who use ki will have their muscles enhanced because, like I've said before, life energy can do this. If life energy, a lack of it, essentially withers you away and makes you weaker, then having more of it should make you stronger. When Asta gained ki, it actually shows he didn't just gain enhanced senses. It made him even faster too. And look at it this way. Asta went from not being able to fully block an attack from Valtos to blocking 6 portals. All of them were at a closer range, and he was shooting them machine gun style, and Asta was dodging them and parrying them. And remember, dodging is harder than parrying because you're moving your entire body, whereas parrying, you're just using your arm. To take a real-world example with ki, I would be able to predict a bullet, if I had ki, from a single firearm, and I could block it if I had a sword that could block bullets. But if 6 dudes with machine guns approached me at an even closer range and unloaded on me, mouse style, if I only had the sensory ability of ki, I would only be able to sense the bullets coming towards me. But I would be helpless at actually moving my body fast enough to parry the bullets, let alone actually moving to dodge them. Yet this happened with Asta, which shows that ki very likely enhances physical capabilities as well as sensory abilities. And if we know that life energy can make people stronger, and ki is life energy, then it makes sense of why Asta is now stronger in this instant. Again, I keep saying it, but it makes sense if lacking life energy will make you weaker, then increasing life energy will make you stronger. Now, you might question the validity of this theory by claiming that Asta didn't know ki until after he had already become a physical prodigy by training for over 10 years. Remember, he didn't learn ki officially until the cave arc. But it's important to know that Asta had always been subconsciously using ki since he had to rely on normal senses. This is how he discovered Valtos in the pile of bodies. Yami even claims that Asta has used ki before. Not only that, but at the very least, Asta has been using ki his entire life. And then pair that with the other part of the theory where he gained a bunch of life energy from his mother, Lucita, because of her curse power in the womb, then this makes so much sense why Asta is so strong compared to everybody else. Now, of course, he does train, but also, he has so much life energy. I think this fits well within the story of Black Clover, as it gives an explanation as to why Asta got so strong physically, and kind of negates what people will say is a plot hole, because people are like, oh, Asta is so strong because he physically trains. Well, that means everybody else should do it, because if they did, they could be even stronger than Asta. And it kind of makes sense, but if you add in the fact that Asta has always used life energy and was born with a lot of it compared to everybody else, it would make sense of why he is so strong, and why he's gotten so strong so fast, because, for one, he, as a orphan, was able to kick a magic user. Remember, Asta didn't have magic, but he kicked a magic user, knocked them against the wall, and made them bleed. That is a intense feat for a newborn. Also, either way, this could be good, but it could also be a way to explain his physical strength without him being like a giant or a dwarven hybrid or a devil hybrid. I mean, I still think he might be. That's one of my favorite theories right now, is Asta as a devil hybrid. But if you just explain that he adapted to Lucita's curse power in the womb, and that's why he cannot be attacked by life energy attacks, and then also he used ki, this explains why he's so strong while still remaining human in a way. So I think it really does make sense, and also it just kind of plays into the fact that I think the gods of fate are playing a huge game here, because now Asta, this explains why everything is happening this way. You needed Liebe to be monolith so that he could, one, be good, because devils have malicious mana, which is why they're evil. So if he doesn't have mana, Liebe cannot be evil. And also, he can use anti-magic. And then, two, Asta, he needed to basically have all this happen so that, one, he could be born without magic so he could pair with Liebe and his anti-magic, and two, his body could be a physical specimen, because if he had no magic, he would have more life energy, and he would have to focus on training his body, and comparing the training with the life energy, he would become a physical prodigy. And then you also add in the fact of Lucita and her role. The gods of fate, they've been said so much in the series. They have to be playing a game here. There is way too many coincidences, and I do think that at one point, they will be the final big bad in the series. Asta with the Black Bulls, so seemingly the Black Bulls are like being made to fight gods and kill gods. I mean, you have arcane anti-magic, destroying dimensions, luck using possibly god powers, fate manipulation, Gray is maybe a reality warper. If you kill the God of Fate, then you give free will to everybody in Black Clover. That could be the end of the story, because if the God of Fate's a thing, that means the God of Fate is making people have these class systems. It's making commoners, peasants, it's making people hate each other. But if you kill the God of Fate, it's all up to free will. So I think the Gods of Fate are going to have a huge role in this. Again, I bring up the God of Fate a lot in Black Clover, but I do think it will eventually be the final villain. And that is pretty much good foreshadowing from Tabata that the God of Fate could be bad, and that could be the final villain. But that being said, let me know your guys' thoughts down below of this theory. Please leave a like. Again, just show everybody. I think this is a crazy theory, and it explains so much. Let's shoot for 2,000 likes, maybe even more. Subscribe, turn on notifications, Discord down below, Twitter down below. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...